Good evening, Hellstalkers. Hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Martin Loudmore. We are looking at an ongoing severe weather outbreak going on across parts of Illinois and Missouri as of this point in time. Got a getting ahead of myself. We got a tornado watch and a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. So we're going to kind of break down exactly what's going on first. And if you guys have any questions specifically where you are at, let me know. I can get you guys a forecast, what you're going to be expecting over the next few hours. So let's start off over in Illinois where the most action is happening. We have a current active tornado going on just north of Springfield. This is an emergency management confirmed tornado. This is, again, just to the north of Springfield. If there is a tornado, it's more than likely going to be right here near Grandview. Now, noticing that there's not much of a debris signature going on, if any. They did get it confirmed by emergency managers, so more than likely, if I had to take a wild guess, it's probably more than likely a pretty weak tornado. And they just have expanded out the severe thunderstorm warning. This has been warned for 1 inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Meanwhile, they have yet to actually re-trigger the tornado warning, and these expire. The confirmed tornado expires in 8 minutes, and the new tornado warning that is associated with this other one north of Decatur, this one expires in 23 minutes. So the warning is for golf ball sized hail, so it's not just tornado we're also being warned for, it's also golf ball sized hail. Now I'll go elsewhere to see what we're looking at across parts of Missouri now. Now, areas shaded in red here, that is a tornado watch. Meanwhile, areas in yellow are going to be more than likely only severe thunderstorm watches. Granted, we do have a tornado warning active, but no active tornado ongoing. Any crazy storms for the Chicagoland area? You guys, wow, what a voice crack. Haven't had that one since I was a teenager. You guys are pretty much past it. I'm actually going to pull up our temperatures. Yeah, we're sitting in the low 60s right now in Chicago. You're also seeing, if I had to guess, no, you're still seeing south winds. It's going to be tough. So, like, I wouldn't say there's any. You're like sitting at a 0% chance for severe storms, but it's going to be tough to get those storms because the line of storms have already passed by. You're in what you call the cold pool, which is not a good place you want to be for storms, unfortunately. Moving back in toward Missouri, the severe thunderstorm watch, both of these watches go in effect until 10 o'clock, so it's about another 5 hours these watches are going to be active for. They do include several large cities, Columbia, St. Louis, Springfield, Illinois, Indianapolis, you're included in here, Terre Haute. You are also included in these watches. Again, red, tornado watch, yellow, severe thunderstorm watch. Really the only difference is you're seeing much less of a tornado threat in those severe thunderstorm watches there. There's also a couple other areas of interest we've been watching. A small severe thunderstorm watch currently still active across parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and northeast Iowa. There's also a current active tornado warning going on. Nothing confirmed as of right now. There's also a little bit of a gust front moving through Sioux Falls. This one right here has got winds up to 60 miles an hour. The one thing I do want to note about these storms, they are moving fast, very fast. 50, 60. I've seen 70 miles an hour in some areas, especially these tornadoes. We had one earlier that was moving at 60 miles an hour. They might be slowing down just a little bit because I'm seeing mostly 40s and 50s. See how fast, 55. So that was a little bit further away from a cold front there. You could see that frontal boundary right here across, again, Illinois, Missouri. If you're behind this line, you're pretty much severe clear. So Macomb, Canton, Cahokia, other Canton, Missouri, and Canton, Illinois. Memphis, not Tennessee, but Missouri. You are out of that severe risk. So again, if you're past that line, the severe risk is pretty much done. Got more of the rainfall moving over toward parts of Michigan and Ohio. We could see some severe storms trying to linger their way through, but with how stable the air has gotten with the rainfall, I think it's going to be pretty tough. A lot of rain has fallen already. You can see places north of Bloomington, 3.5, 4 inches of rain. Urban flooding has been reported. A lot of flash flooding. I imagine if I turn on the flash flood warnings, yep, plenty of those flash flood warnings right there. But they have just reissued a tornado warning. This is for, wow, it's for baseball-sized hail. That's impressive. So let's switch back over to our more in-depth radar. Oh, yeah, look at that right there. High reflectivity. Very low drop-off in our correlation coefficient. That is a perfect indication that we are seeing some pretty good-sized hail out of this system. This is heading in toward Decatur. If this maintains its current course, Decatur is going to get walloped with some pretty large hail pretty soon. That will be interesting to say the least on what's going to be happening in the next few minutes. Oh, yeah. Big drop off in that correlation coefficient. This is over at Illopolis. Is it like Illinois? Is it like Illinois-Polis or something? Niantic? You're in that area too as well. I guess they're going to allow this confirmed tornado to expire. There is no debris signature where, because in that center of rotation is about right here, just south of Mechanicsburg, and ahead, just upstream of Mount Auburn. Mount Auburn, you're going to be seeing the center of rotation pretty soon. But looking at the center of rotation, there's no definitive drop off in your correlation coefficient, which is what we really want to look for in these storms. If you want to look for a tornado specifically, but we're not seeing anything as of right now. This storm has, I think, potential of staying alive for a long time, because if you look much further to the south, there is nothing here. All clear air. And I'm going to swap back over to our higher, more in-depth look. Well, if I could see the temperatures. Yeah, this thing is pulling in much warmer air. We got temperatures in the 80s just to the south of it. So that inflow is very strong. And I think that this storm just had the potential of staying alive for a good while. So Decatur, Mount Zion, Macon, Illinois, not Macon, Georgia, Macon, Illinois. Make sure you're in that safe area because you are under that tornado warning. Nothing is confirmed as of right now. But wow, what a massive hail core going through Illopolis and Niantic right now. See that inflow as well. Very clear air. All that. Nothing really inhibiting this storm. So I do think this storm could probably last for a good while and bringing in storms over toward Decatur. Again, warm for baseball-sized hail. It is a tornado warning. So it's not the severe thunderstorm warning warned for baseball-sized hail. The actual severe thunderstorm warning that encompasses this entire system is only for 1-inch hail. But that tornado warning with that large hail core there, that is definitely the reason why they're calling it for baseball-sized hail. I think Decatur could easily get some very impressive hailstones in the next couple minutes. Moving at 35, which is probably one of the slower storms today. New tornado warning in northeast Missouri, just to the northwest of St. Louis. Actually, got another reported tornado. This one's that storm that was up in Iowa. Confirmed, radar confirmed. It's over at Lansing, Iowa. Let's take a quick peek at that one. If it's radar confirmed, we should be able to see a debris signature. Oh, yeah, that is a very divine debris signature right there. About central Missouri along I-70. Let's take a look at that. Along I-70 over from Boonville and Odessa, This one's got Interstate 70 on mile markers 76 to 86. So as of right now, it's only about a 10-mile swath in between Boonville and Sweet Springs. So the thing is that this, I'm going to put this in motion so you can see where these storms are going. If you're east of Boonville, you're going to be seeing these storms moving your way. If you're west of Boonville, you're pretty much out of that risk right now, David. So if you're past Boonville, heading toward Kansas City, you are all good. If you're maybe saying Odessa or heading towards St. Louis, you're going to encounter some pretty rough driving. So it really just depends on where you are in I-70. But luckily, there's no confirmed tornadoes or tornado warnings along I-70 as of right now. And they have allowed that confirmed tornado just north of Springfield to expire. We need some big hail, please. We get that a lot here. We get that pretty frequently. Yeah, my attention is going to be very focused on this cell heading in toward Decatur. It's got some pretty large hail that it's warned for. We can see a definitive debris signature and extreme reflectivities upwards toward, and this number doesn't make any sense to you, but it's 70 to 80 dBz, which is nearly maxing out our chart. So if the number doesn't make any sense to you, it's maxing out the charts. That's really the best way to say it. And we've got very large drop-off correlation coefficients. We got blues here, so it's like this has the opportunity to have very, very large hail with this storm.
Hello.
Hello, Taylor. Taylor Cox has joined us, and you have caught it at a very interesting time. This had a confirmed tornado with it before, but now it's turning into it's a hail core with maybe a tornado attached, is what I'm looking at it as now.
Yeah, I see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tornado warnings ongoing right now, with a 5th tornado warning up near the far northeastern portion of Iowa. That one's actually confirmed up there. But then we've also got a few severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing from Columbia all the way up to Quincy and through central Illinois. And that area that we expected storms to form today, Martin. We expected those storms across this area. And we really expected hailers more across Missouri than Indiana. So I'm glad that, what we expected, that's exactly what's happening. We'll see, I guess, what happens for the rest of the evening, but those tornado warnings, absolutely something to keep an eye on, especially those isolated storms. These could last for a long time. I don't expect these to just peter out anytime soon.
Yeah, I was mentioning that before, especially with this one, because if you look behind it or look underneath it, you just see nothing. And it's very warm south of this little cell right here. So I was saying earlier that I could easily see this thing lasting for a good while. I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon because it's got just a really good inflow. Okay, take a look at this, Taylor. This thing is registering a hail spike on reflectivity.
Yeah, very impressive.
That is an immense amount. There is either an ungodly amount of hail in this, or there's some very large hail just south of Niantic. It's warned for baseball-sized hail right now. Let's see. St. Louis, what do we look like? Let's look at it. So you're in the tornado watch as of right now. This is the tornado watch that we were talking about before that has a very good chance of seeing tornadoes. I mean, obviously, we're seeing plenty of them right now. This is much further south in the tornado warning itself, so it will be a little bit. Now, like I said before, these storms are moving pretty fast. Now, it seems that they are slowing down a little bit. And the thing is that we were talking about this earlier this morning, or earlier this afternoon, around 2 o'clock. These storms were moving at 70 miles an hour, and they were just getting shredded to pieces by the upper level flow. Now, it seems like it's calmed down a little bit, and that actually will help these storms maintain their structure much longer. So if these storms can stay individual, which some of our models were saying that these storms were going to remain a little bit more individualized into the afternoon and evening, and maybe even into past sunset, these storms could bring in some hailstones into St. Louis, maybe some tornadoes. I mean, that's a little bit less of what we're wanting to see, those tornadoes, but it absolutely could be seeing some pretty significant weather moving into St. Louis in the next couple hours. Really just depends on if these storms can maintain their current speeds, but also not slow down to a snail's pace.
Yeah, and one thing that we've been seeing with these storms, Martin, is we've been seeing that these are definitely taking more of a south turn than what we saw earlier. Earlier, these were directly to the east. And even in Illinois, we're still seeing that turn to the east. That's their direction right now. And they're going very fast, slowing down a little bit. So that's going to bring more of a direct hit into St. Louis instead of seeing these hit along the highway. So I think that they could arrive in St. Louis, I think maybe before dusk. We originally said these storms were probably arriving around dusk. Now we're probably seeing those storms a little bit earlier because they're taking more of that south turn. But again, storms that arrive in St. Louis, maybe this one that's up near Santa Fe right now. So that's just to the northeast of Columbia. That could be something that we watch into St. Louis. That may go to the north of St. Louis. So maybe something just directly to the north of Columbia is actually what hits St. Louis. If you take a look at the track of that, just how far away is that storm that's just north of Columbia, away from St. Louis itself? Let's see. This is about 130 miles away. So even moving at a very, very fast pace of 60 miles an hour, let's say these storms don't slow down at all, that means that these storms still aren't getting to St. Louis for the next 2 hours. Now, let's say they slow down a little bit to 45 miles an hour, which is kind of what we'd expect, maybe even a tiny bit slower than that. That means it's going to be at least 3 or 4 hours from now. So St. Louis, it's 5 o'clock right now. It may be closer to 8 or 9 o'clock tonight before you actually see storms in your area. And that's actually the timeline that we originally gave you a few days ago. So that could be something that we see. Joshua is saying, we got scammed on every storm this year. It feels like it, right, Joshua? I totally understand what you're talking about. It feels like those storms, they die out before they get to St. Louis, or it's just a total wind event before they get to St. Louis. So I know exactly what you're talking about. You got a lot of storms last year. So I'm hoping that those storms last year can last you through this spring. I know what you're talking about is that these storms, it just seems like you guys are on the far southern edge of the risk. So by the time that line of storms gets to you, it's a rain and a wind type of event. It could change tonight. This is a different setup than what we've seen.
Yeah, I believe we were actually talking about how St. Louis has been missed like so frequently this year, only like last week or something. I think we were specifically talking about St. Louis.
Yeah, it feels like they just keep getting missed. For sure.
Yeah, I'm still watching for Decatur.
Yeah.
Not specifically for the tornado, because I think that the rotation's kind of, I think it looks like it's lost. It's still pretty decent, but man, that hail though, we're going to see hail in Decatur for sure. It's kind of losing a bit of its umph. The reflectivity has fallen off a little bit, and we're not seeing as impressive of correlation or CC drop-offs, but I mean, it's still very apparent. There absolutely still is there. No, it's a tornado. The hook is not exactly textbook by any means. Oh yeah, good structure though. Nice little overshooting top going in there. Chicago
says, did Chicago get a dud? Yeah, Chicago, I think you guys missed out. I knew that you guys were right on the edge. Could you see a few storms a little bit later? I think that's possible. but I don't think it'll be severe like what we expected in Chicago. You guys could still get some rain, but I'm not expecting this all-out severe outbreak. Like, I think you guys were in the slight or the enhanced risk.
Mm.
Probably not going to see that verify in Chicago proper. Maybe that enhanced risk down near Kankakee. I don't even know if you guys got storms in Kankakee, but I know that's far out of Chicago, so I think you're probably right. I will say on the south side of Chicago, so closer to Hammond, a little outside of Chicago proper, there was a flood reported about a half an hour ago. So traffic cameras along I-80 and I-94 Kennedy Avenue show several inches of standing water on the inside lanes. So you guys got a lot of rain. You didn't get a lot of severe weather like we expected.
And the one thing I'm still kind of a little bit shocked by is that we haven't seen any uptick in severity lately, wind or hail. I'm looking at, with the exception of the tornado warned storm just south of Decatur, which technically is warned for baseballs, there's no severe thunderstorm warning that is warned for anything beyond ping pong ball hail or 60-mile-an-hour winds. So we're still kind of, I guess you could say, capped, so to speak, when it comes to our warnings. I'm wondering when we're going to have that first good-sized severe thunderstorm is going to give us that, that destructive tag or that considerable tag that will allow for larger hailstones. Because outside of the Decatur storm, which it has moved into Decatur now, but that reflectivity is beginning to drop off a good bit. Anything coming for Indy from Carlos? Let me go back to our GR Earth. So the thing is you've got a lot of this rain that's going to be moving through pretty soon. So if you're on the north side of Indy, it's getting a little tougher to get that. But we pull up temperatures real quick. It's currently 71 in Indy right now. If I remember correctly, I think that Indianapolis was in almost an exclusive wind threat.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think it was mainly a wind threat for Indianapolis. I think that you're right about that. I think that the Storm Prediction Center had said that there's some chance for hail, but on the HailTrace side of things, we took that down a notch because I think they gave you like a level 3. I hesitated to even do a level 2.
Yeah, they have Indianapolis in the 15% Sig 2 for tornado, wind 30% Sig 1, and 30% Sig 1 for hail as well. So it's all 3, but
yeah, and that's a conversation. Yeah, and that's a conversation Martin and I had earlier today, right before the forecast. I said, I think they need to tone this hail risk down, and I think that they need to push it farther to the west. And that's what we showed you guys on the live noon forecast today, is we pushed it farther to the west. We toned it down a little bit from what the Storm Prediction Center had. Now they're looking at different qualifications or quantifications for to verify these storms. So we have a little bit of a different forecast anyway, but I did think that was a very optimistic forecast for them to put Indianapolis in that hail risk.
We've got a PDS tornado warning in parts of Iowa and Wisconsin. Very definitive debris signature. This is just south of Lynxville. They have got it. It is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado near Harper's Ferry. It will be near Boscobel, I think it's what you call it, Boscobel, in like 20 minutes. But areas that are in toward this is going to be passing just to the north of Eastman. Steuben, you're going to be right in the pathway of this one. It is probably a couple minutes out, so if you are in Steuben, get in that safe space right now. Oh, yeah. Wow, this thing has maintained a debris signature, like a perfect circle debris signature for the past 10 minutes. Wow. This thing is mean.
Yeah, so, I mean, absolutely confirmed. Martin, have they said if it's radar confirmed or if it's confirmed by storm chasers or emergency management on the ground? Radar. I mean, it's easy to confirm that by radar, right? Like you can see that there's a very clear debris ball. That's that thing that's highlighted in blue, that is a confirmed tornado. But I was kind of wondering if they had someone on that to tell us what that looked like.
The one thing I'm also worried about is that this tornado is absolutely rain wrapped at this point. Maybe before it wasn't. I could probably see right here it was not rain wrapped, but the inflow has kind of choked into the tornado. Now, two things happen when the inflow gets choked up. One, things get worse in the sense of you can't see the tornado anymore because the rain has fully encapsulated the tornado. So now the leading edge of that tornado that you normally can see that, chasers love to go to is that leading edge just south of it in the inflow where you can see that tornado perfectly. That is now all choked up with rain. So that's the bad thing about this thing is that you can't see it now. The good thing is that once the inflow gets choked up, tornadoes don't like their inflow getting messed with. They like a nice clean inflow to maintain that spin. So hopefully we might see this weakening over the next couple of minutes before it gets into Steuben. But as of right now, large and extremely dangerous tornado that is crossing the state line in between Iowa and Wisconsin. Just south of Lynxville, will head to the north of Eastman, south of Seneca, and more than likely head right for Steuben within the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's something that they definitely need to be alerted of. So if you have anyone in that area that make sure that they are aware of these storms because it's something they need to be definitely watching for.
I wonder if there's been any reports of hail indicators so far. I'm surprised none have popped up. Yeah, mine.
Our hail reports today have been few and far between. We got a few whenever we first started to see these storms explode, but we really haven't seen anything after that. And we've had severe thunderstorm warnings today for golf ball size hail. I think that's the largest that we've had for these warnings, yet our only confirmed hail sizes have been either quarters or $half size hail. So 1.25 inches. That's been our largest confirmed hail size today. And I'm very surprised by that because our atmosphere was primed for large hail. So we haven't really gotten a ton. Oh, you know what? I spoke too soon. Ping pong ball size hail indicator.
Yeah.
That's coming from an emergency manager. So pretty reliable source right there. And it's mainly on the southern side of the city. So that's where we're seeing that confirmed ping pong ball size hail. All right, no more $half. We have confirmed largest hail size of the day, ping pong ball size hail.
Decatur got a little scammed too because this cell was way stronger before it got into Decatur. I mean, it could have more than likely been dropping 3 inches at that point, or a lot of like baseball, tennis ball sized hail because reflectivity was so extremely high, correlation coefficient was super low, and it was just like I'm wanting to know if I want to know if there was any chaser south of Niantic because like right here when it was just south of Niantic, there had to have been some massive hailstones falling out of this storm at this point in time.
Yeah. I mean, that reflectivity is really, really high. I wonder, Martin, do you have what a correlation coefficient or a KDP looks like?
Yeah,
is that KDP is on?
Woo!
There you go.
That's very high.
Pretty impressive. Yeah,
it's
there you go. I mean,
that right now
makes sense why they got that ping pong ball size hail. So we'd probably say that hail core went just on the southwest side of Decatur near Harristown, and then just to the north of Macon, and then to the east now at Mount Zion.
Yep, currently over Mount Zion. That hail core is probably out at Mount Zion as of this point in time. Still a good little drop off in your correlation coefficient, not as impressive as before. They also had a power line blown down by wind damage in Decatur, downtown Decatur. So they've got wind and hail. And this storm is warned for both wind and hail as of this point in time. Moving at 50 miles an hour, so they're not exactly moving slow, but they're not moving
they're
so fast. Yeah, they're still moving pretty fast, but they're luckily not moving so fast that they're just ripping, that it's just getting ripped apart at its speed.
Yeah, so to give everyone an idea of what was happening earlier, is we saw these storms moving at a very, very fast pace of 60 to 70 miles an hour. Very, very quick. I mean, they were moving so fast that they didn't have enough time to organize themselves before they moved on. So I'm glad now that these storms are slowing down a little bit, but that does mean that we have a better chance for these storms to organize, and they're definitely doing so, obviously dropping ping pong ball size hail, producing potential tornadoes as well. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tornado warnings still ongoing across the US right now.
Yep. Let me actually take away that. So we've got three tornado warnings in Illinois, 3 in Missouri. Well, one in partially in Kansas, partially in Missouri. So it's just making its way from Kansas to Missouri. And of course, the one in Wisconsin, which we are watching pretty closely right now, it is a confirmed tornado and also is a PDS tornado warning. PDS means particularly dangerous situation. It's the second highest level they can give a tornado warning. The only thing higher is a tornado emergency. I don't know why I lost that. How's Mount Zion looking? I'm glad you asked, because we were watching it pretty closely. You guys are more than likely getting some pretty decent heavy rain, if not some hail. So, Balin, let us know if you're getting any hail in Mount Zion safely, if you can peek outside and see what the size roughly is of those hailstones. Safely. That's the biggest thing. Make sure you do it safely. But you've got a little bit of a hail core moving through Mount Zion. Still warned for baseballs. New tornado warning actually just dropped in, so we're now up to 8. This one's long. 55 miles an hour. Almost stretches to Indiana. Well, looks like our models were not too terribly off, Taylor, because these storms are maintaining individuality pretty well. What is that?
Yeah. So that was one thing that the Storm Prediction Center, and we noted as well, looking at models today, that we were looking at a broken line of storms. So basically what that means is that we've got a line of storms, but it's not completely filled in, which is why we're keeping, as Martin mentioned, that individuality of storms, which means that they're isolated, they have enough room and time to organize. And so that's going to promote larger hail. It's going to promote more long-term tornadoes. So those supercells will be more long track is what we call them. That's the word that meteorologists use. And so that's something that we are seeing right now because of this broken line of storms. And if it can stay that way, then we're going to really limit that shift over to more of a wind risk. Even though we're not seeing a ton of hail right now, I think that this isolated storm threat right now is, or the broken line of storms is promoting that hail risk rather than that wind risk.
Yeah, for sure. St. Louis going to get any hail? I think it's going to be tough, Evan. I really do. I think that it's going to be very hard to get hail. As Taylor was mentioning before, this cluster, it's kind of moving over I-80 right now, is about 100, and what do you say, like 180 miles away or something? 120?
Yeah, closer to 120. I mean, but don't think about these storms taking a direct hit on St. Louis. These storms are going to be, I mean, it's probably the storm over Columbia that may make it to you guys. They're moving more to the east than they are to the south. So it's more of an easterly track. So look far off to the west to find a storm that could hit St. Louis later.
That's what I'm thinking about, this one cell that could just basically just take a car ride up over I-80 or I-70 right here. This is I-70. Through Columbia and then to make its way into St. Louis. That absolutely could happen if it can maintain itself. It looks like, Taylor, they've extended out the tornado watch to include all the way up to the Kansas border. I think it's to probably get these couple of these tornado warnings included into a tornado watch. And it does continue down toward almost Springfield.
So that would be areas, this isn't a new watch, but it's new for tornado watch, right? That would be areas that previously were in a severe thunderstorm watch, now in a tornado watch. So they're extending the tornado watch, taking away that severe thunderstorm watch. This still goes until 10 o'clock tonight. And the Storm Prediction Center is still saying a couple of tornadoes possible, widespread. This is their words, widespread damaging winds and isolated significant wind gusts to 75 miles an hour likely. So kind of like what that storm with Decatur, we saw power lines down and large hail. Scattered large hail, they go on to say that scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events to 3 inches in diameter are likely. So the National Weather Service uses large hail as 2 inches and larger, and very large hail as it may be 2.5, it may be 3 inches and larger. So they're saying scattered 2-inch size hailstones and isolated 3-inch size hailstones. Pretty impressive. We haven't seen that yet, but the night is still young and this watch goes until 10 p.m. So we still have a lot of time to see that.
One last thing before the storm gets into Steuben. You're probably going to be seeing this tornado if there is still active, which we're going to treat it as such. The PDS tornado warning is now probably making its way through Steuben. The center of rotation and the debris signature is right just outside Steuben. So if you're in Steuben, if you have anybody that's there, let them know tornado's on the way. It is a particularly dangerous situation. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't go with a tornado emergency. I don't know what the criteria is for a population center. Now, I will say it has lost a little bit of its structure. The debris signature has weakened pretty significantly. So hoping that tornado has fallen apart somewhat before getting into Steuben. That would be fantastic news if it does. We'll continue to watch it. Still no new reports out of Decatur. I'm surprised there's not more. I'm really surprised that we don't have more reports coming out of Decatur. There was some very impressive not debris signatures, but very low correlation coefficient mixed with very high reflectivities, which normally indicates, hey, we're looking at some pretty good hail. Dalton City, Lovington, Bethany, all of these in central Illinois. Probably going to be seeing a little bit of hail pretty soon. But again, we did have that ping pong ball sized hailstone in Elwyn, Illinois. It's in Macon County, Illinois, just south of Decatur. A lot of tornado warnings with this as well. Granted, I believe some of these will either expire soon or be canceled early. We've currently got 9 tornado warnings, including our PDS tornado warning. Pull back and see all of them in one line. The orange here is we've still got a severe thunderstorm watch and tornado watch kind of conflicting with each other. I'll imagine this will all turn red pretty soon, but I couldn't have spoken any better. So they have stretched this all the way back to Butler, Missouri, down to El Dorado Springs, and almost to Springfield, this tornado watch. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just fill in the entire severe thunderstorm watch as a tornado watch at this point. Like, these storms have proven that the shear is there. The storm energy is obviously there. The shear is there. I'm kind of surprised we didn't just go for a full-on tornado watch at this point.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's something that they'll do later, where they've got the severe thunderstorm watch right now, and they say let's see what happens. Let's see if this is warranted, because there's a few counties this is not warranted for, right? Ottawa, Paola, Burlington, Kansas, they don't need a tornado watch. But there's a few counties that it's possible, like Chanute, Parsons, Pittsburgh, maybe Fort Scott, could get turned over to that tornado watch later on today, later on tonight. I
imagine they're probably going to go through a couple more counties up towards parts of extreme western Illinois, over here toward Moberly, Macon. You'll probably see a lot of these counties starting to drop off. I imagine what they're going to do with these counties here is, once this line passes, instead of turning it to a tornado watch real quick, they're just going to cancel all the watches in those counties. Good news on the tornado up in Wisconsin. It's no longer a PDS tornado warning. It is going through Steuben as of right now, but it's lost a lot of its structure. The debris signature is much, much, much less impressive as it was before, but it's still being treated as a confirmed tornado. They're still calling it for radar confirmed as of right now, so no chasers on this storm as of right now. I mean, I guarantee you everybody is not in Wisconsin. They're probably all down here. That's where I'm guessing all the chasers are going to be.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, chasers, where do they go whenever we've got a moderate risk day?
Right in dead center. Champaign must have been a very busy day today. Still a good amount of rotation in there. It is weakening up a little bit. Yeah, a little. It is starting to flatten out just a bit. Still a good couplet going on though. You can still see a backside inflow in this whole mess. This is way messier now than it was before, for sure, as it's going through Steuben. I'm hoping that it did fall apart. Although we are still seeing some form of a debris signature right now past Steuben. So imagine we'll have to wait for that to hear if there was a tornado in Steuben, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's a mess over near Springfield to Champaign. Just south of Champaign. Champaign is not included in the severe thunderstorm warning right now, but we've got 4 at least 4 storms in this area. You could even count a 5th if you just go to the north of Springfield. This is what we were talking about during the noon show earlier today, that it's just round after round. So even if you've got your first round, you can see that second round just on its tail. That's kind of the nature of the southward moving front, but then more eastward moving storms. So they are slowly moving down to the south, but it's mainly an eastward track here.
Look at this one little cluster of storms moving its way into Iowa. Very large warning near the Ellsworth Air Force Base. 60-mile-an-hour winds, no hail. Barely any precipitation in that at all. Got a confirmed tornado report just near Eastman. This was prior, so this is not exactly what's going on at this very moment. Report of 4 power poles snapped in the vicinity of a radar tornadic debris signature. Sounds like tornado damage to me. Oh, I knew it. This was prior to it, Taylor. But when that storm was at its peak, just to the north, and let me rephrase this. This is north of the hail core, 2-inch hailer. Just southeast of Niantic. And this was not even in the middle of the hail core.
There we go. That's the largest hailstone of the day, now recorded just outside of Decatur, Illinois, and it's 2 inches in size. They're slowly getting bigger, Martin. We started with that $half size hail, quickly went up to ping pong ball size hail in Decatur, and now we are up to 2 inches in size. That's the largest hailstone we've gotten all day long. I think that we're going to continue to see this trend as these storms, if they stay isolated, we'll continue to see this trend across Illinois, at least, if not Missouri as well.
Yeah, I think Illinois, it's going to be tough. I think this one cell that dropped that, and they've also dropped it off as well. They dropped it down to ping pong size. This was warned for baseball sized originally when it was dropping the 2-inch hailstone before it got into Decatur. And now it's down to ping pong sized hailstones. The rest of the warnings being warned for 1 inch. I don't know if we're going to have much of a big hailer in Illinois, but Missouri, oh, absolutely, we could see some more hailstones out of this one. I think it's just gotten too messy at this point. This is a really mangled line of storms. It's not a broken line. It's just a mangled line of storms across all of central Illinois. I mean, we could have, if one of these storms continues like this one near Sullivan, trying to spin up, but also kind of giving itself a tornado warning. but maintaining a good inflow. We could still see some decent hailers out of this, but my money's going to be betting on this broken line of storms stretching across central Missouri.
Yeah, and Missouri is one of those places that we said earlier today that we were really watching for hail. We really liked the western side of this risk for hail. Right now, I'm not seeing anything that looks too terribly concerning in terms of large hail sizes. I'm looking at a lot of storms warned for quarters and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts right now. Of course, a few tornado warnings mixed in there as well. One that looks more impressive than others, Butler, looks pretty impressive in terms of potential tornado. It's moving to the east at about 45 miles an hour. And for hail, maybe, but I mean, it really looks impressive that it could either be on the ground right now or could produce a tornado here pretty soon. There we go. We're going to get a better look at it via this radar. Yeah, there you go. You can see a pretty clear inflow notch, potential hook there. Some decent rotation. Hey, Martin, I'm not quite sure we can hear you.
It's because I have myself muted.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I can hear you now.
Well, I'm glad. I was saying that this one didn't have as impressive storm relative velocity, but then the very next frame, it immediately had a much more impressive velocity signature. So I ate my own words, my silent words, apparently. But no, this one in Butler, I absolutely think if they can stay ahead of this little mess here over on the Missouri-Kansas state line, it could absolutely maintain that really good inflow and stay pretty strong and maybe produce a tornado out in the middle of nowhere. The south of Butler, though, and it's got Osceola not too far from it. Not completely rural.
You know, one thing that we haven't talked about today, even in the forecasts, we haven't talked about ahead of this front with all of these storms that are moving through. Obviously, the biggest risk are these storms, but we've got some strong south winds. And whenever I look at cameras coming from St. Louis, they're shaking. This is not coming from severe thunderstorms. This is coming from just your classic, it's a windy day type of winds.
Ooh.
And we've got some pretty decent strong winds, talking about very sustained 25 miles an hour, but then you get up to 35, maybe 40 miles an hour for strong wind gusts, maybe even greater than that. But let me tell you why I say this is because we have a report that's coming through southern Illinois of down power lines on the house, and the house is smoking. And obviously we don't know why, but it could be because of these strong sustained winds that's ahead of the front. Now, why are these important for storms? That's your inflow. You get a storm that can catch on to those strong south winds, and that's your inflow. And so that's why some of these storms can stay sustained and can stay long-lived for a long period of time because they've got a nice inflow. And if they can stay isolated and catch on to that inflow, then I think that we could see a very late night system ahead of us.
Yeah, that's where that shear originates from. You have these storms, they're moving generally east to west, or more like northeast to, or east north, hold on, I'll get it. West northwest to east southeast, and then you have these winds coming in from the southwest. You're looking for a 90-degree angle on that shear. That is the prime amount of shear for tornadic development. And we are seeing pretty close to that shear vector with these storms, which I would probably surmise reason why we're seeing all these tornado warnings. The confirmed tornado is no longer active in Wisconsin. They've also given a splash tornado watch for southwest Wisconsin. Kind of a short fuse tornado watch here. They didn't even put out an MCD for it.
We have a question about Kempton, Indiana. So that we have no severe thunderstorm warnings in Indiana at all right now. None. They are all in Illinois, Missouri, and we'll probably have a new one in Kansas pretty soon. We've got another one in Iowa, one in Iowa, and then we've got another in Wisconsin. None in Indiana. Now, Martin, did you pull up Kempton, Indiana?
I was wanting to see if I could find, if it was a big enough city that I could find it.
Okay, I got you. So
Cool.
Kempton, Indiana is going to be in Tipton
North of
County,
Indy.
just to the north of Indianapolis. If you go straight to the east of Lafayette and just down tiny, tiny bit to the south.
There it is, Kempton, Indiana, North Indiana. You are getting a good little bit of rain right now in toward Kempton. Let's see.
But nothing severe, just a little bit of rain.
Yep, a little bit of rain. Maybe some clusters of thunderstorms going to go through Indianapolis pretty soon. This could, if this cluster of thunderstorms sticks around into Indy and it does not go severe, that could be the severe killer for the Indianapolis metropolitan area. If that cluster goes through and does not go severe. Louisville, Kentucky, Jason. Not seeing much right now. Louisville's out of the watch. You are just 2 counties away from the watch, so maybe really late in the evening, but by that time, it's probably going to be almost an exclusive wind threat. But, well, I'm willing to bet if it does make its way to Louisville, it probably will be almost a complete wind threat at that point in time. Just because over this part is really starting to conglomerate into a proper MCS, a mesoscale convective system. Meanwhile, over here, we've got these storms that are really broken line of storms that are not really conglomerating in that specific system that will bring a mostly wind threat. Well, we've lost a confirmed tornado, so kind of a roll call right now. We've got 9 tornado warnings. 1, 2, 3, 4 in Missouri, 1, 2, 3 in Illinois, and 2 in Wisconsin. Severe thunderstorms, we've only got a handful in Missouri because most of them are tornado warnings. We've got 1, 2, 3 in Missouri, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Illinois, and then we have 1 to the north exclusively for wind. Just checking the south. Oh, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in Florida heading toward West Palm Beach.
And if anyone is watching from the Gulf Coast right now, I think that most of our viewers right now are going to be in the Midwest. But if anyone's watching from the Gulf Coast, you guys are going to see these ongoing on and off showers and storms over the next few days. This is coming from a tropical storm, the first one of the year. And what you just saw, and as it loops around again, watch the southern portion of Alabama. Do you see that red thing pop up? That's your tornado warning from earlier today. We're going to have these isolated tornado warnings over the next few days. And then your other big hazard here is going to be that flood issue. Just day after day after day of rain eventually creates a flood problem in this area. So that's going to be something that will not stop tonight. You know, in the Midwest, after tonight, you guys get a break. But Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, you guys are going to see Louisiana, you guys are going to see some ongoing showers and storms and potential tornado risks over the next few days.
Yeah, it looks like Louisiana, Mississippi today, more than likely parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and into the panhandle of Florida tomorrow, and then stretching almost the entirety of the Gulf Coast on Friday. And then as we get into our Saturday, it's probably going to eventually start actually getting toward Atlanta. What I saw, it's a very slow mover. Even with the tornado threat, I think the flooding threat is going to be the big one because almost everybody's going to feel it. Lots of tornado warnings going on. Granted, a lot of these are double, where they are like old tornado warnings and they're about to expire. Clinton here is a perfect example. We've got this tornado warning that's expiring in 45 seconds. New one has already been issued. So some of these are doubled up. but we still have 8 tornado warnings ongoing as of right now.
I do want to mention with that hail earlier, we had 2-inch size hail that was reported just outside of Decatur. We have a new report about some sheet metal that had blown in this area as well. So I think that we had some hail and some wind in this area. So some pretty decent storm that came through here.
Wow.
I mean, you can see the exact swath just by looking at the local storm reports.
Yeah, 10 trees snapped in Harristown, Illinois. That is impressive.
We have another question. Osage Beach, Missouri, and it appears that everything is to the west, just can't get it together as far as diameter. A couple warnings, but it seems to be a bust. Are you expecting a refire or more intensity? Okay, Osage Beach, Missouri.
Oh, it's in the beautiful Lake of the Ozarks. Oh my goodness.
I love the Lake of the Ozarks. You guys
Great.
are making my, you're challenging my geography here. So let me find.
Just to the south, southwest
Beach.
of Jefferson City.
And we've got Rolla. We go just west of Rolla. Yeah, okay, so everything is going to be to your west and to your north. You're not wrong in whatever you said that they just can't get it together in terms of diameter. So talking about hail diameter, everything that we've seen in Missouri so far has been small hailstones, if any at all. But you still have that tornado threat. So while you don't have anything on top of you right now, it's going to be maybe an hour before storms actually get to you in Osage Beach. So give it some time. I wouldn't call it a bust quite yet, although we haven't had any tornadoes confirmed in this area. I'm going to see how far is that storm away from you guys exactly?
It is also moving at 40 miles an hour, by the way.
Okay, perfect. That's very helpful. Thank you. So that storm about 50 to 60 miles away, moving at 45 miles an hour. Some quick math here means it'll get to you in a little over an hour. So good estimate on that time for an hour away. Right now, your main threat's going to be a tornado threat. We're not seeing a ton of hail, if anything, from this. So give it an hour or two and then see exactly what's happening. I will say the Storm Prediction Center just issued a new mesoscale discussion that includes Osage Beach. So I'll read to you exactly what they're saying here. They say supercells with severe hail and wind potential will continue into the early evening. So they're expecting this risk to continue. They're saying that several discrete supercells have developed from extreme east central Kansas into western central Missouri, which is what we just showed you. While this convection is developing in the vicinity of a cold front, moderate to strong deep layer shear, we kind of talked about that earlier, will continue to support semi-discrete convection into the early evening. So that's that broken up line of storms that we've been talking about all evening long. They're expecting to continue to see a supercell threat. They go on to say that our photographs, which is basically a look at the wind direction with height in the atmosphere, will support potential for large to very large hail and localized severe wind gusts possible. So Storm Prediction Center is saying that they are keeping that hail risk all the way through the evening hours. So I know that it's not in your area quite continue, and I know we haven't seen anything yet. Now, I would kind of agree with Joshua on this, Martin, and you tell me what you think about this, is that it just hasn't measured up in hail size to what we expected to see.
Oh,
so I like to say the trend is your friend. And if this is what we've been seeing trend so far during what we would consider power hour, 5 to 7 o'clock at night, I don't see any reason for larger hail later on tonight in an hour or two. Now, could we get something like ping pong ball size hail? I think that's absolutely possible. Totally. Golf ball if you're lucky. But it's hard for me to, and maybe I'm missing something here, but it's really hard for me to consider 2-inch to 3.5-inch size hail that they're saying is possible. And maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, as you're saying that, Decatur just got put under, we were talking about this before. These storms, getting more and more storms. Decatur's now under a severe thunderstorm warning for 2-inch hail.
And I believe it in Illinois. Absolutely. It's Missouri that I'm kind of questioning.
I mean, the thing is that we are under this watch. Both of these watches, the severe thunderstorm and the tornado storm and the tornado watches, these are for up to almost softball sized hail. That's what they're saying their max hail size could be, is 2.5 to 3.5 inches, which goes from about your tennis ball to almost softball size. So I just think if these models are what they're saying they can be later on this evening, because let me actually show the model real quick. What I was looking at earlier today. Let me just get caught up on everything. Pull up my specific model. So as we go through the next several hours, into this afternoon and evening, well, now the newest models actually have them pretty broken up or held together. I mean, here's right here what I'm looking at, Taylor. They've changed up a little bit on how it was before, but we're at 8 o'clock. These storms are still pretty broken up. Now, granted, you're kind of looking at multiple MCSs, but these MCSs, with a long line of storms, all you have is one or two little tail end Charlies. That's the only real hail risk you've got. But with this storm, if it's going to be maintained like this, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, several possibilities of tail end Charlies, which I think just gives a better chance of one of those maybe pushing out, a baseball size report or something like that. I think that's what they're, rather go over than, underplay it. That's what I would probably forecast, is like I would rather be a little bit more aggressive with my forecast than lesser, because if you're calling for something big and little happens, well, all you have to deal with is just people that are a little upset. But if you forecast for little and big things happen, you're kind of just caught in the dust. Like, I don't know what I was doing. But I just think this is a weird scenario where if these lines do break up like they're supposed to, that we could see potential for hail all the way until almost sunset. So yeah, I think it's more of a timing of more time that you can actually get these hailstones.
I think that it's very interesting to see model runs really start to latch on to what we're seeing right now, these little clusters of storms. And you're probably correct about the Storm Prediction Center is going more conservative on making sure that they're prepared for large hail. They're prepared for large hail in case it happens. I still think if we haven't seen any sign of large hail yet, it's going to be really difficult. Now, I say this, and we have one severe thunderstorm warning warned for golf ball size hail. That's in Missouri. It's just to the south of Warrensburg. It's near Holden, just to the north of these tornado warnings right here. So let me give you another risk that could happen, and we'll just use Ozark Beach just kind of Osage Beach as kind of an example here. If these storms make it and sustain to Osage Beach and they sustain their, cluster form, which what we have right now, you could have this first storm tornado warning go over your area, and then you can have this second storm large hail go over your area. So it could be kind of like that first storm hits, and then you have another one right behind it. So just kind of keep an eye on that potential double hit. We have another question. Storm's going to hit near Palestine, Indiana.
New Palestine, Indiana is just to the east of Indianapolis.
So good news. We do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings in Indiana right now. You guys are still under a watch, tornado watch. That tornado watch goes until 1 a.m. Eastern time. So midnight Central, but no severe thunderstorm warnings in Indiana.
I believe they extended that then. So I think that watch was only in effect until 10. Oh, no, wait, that's the one that they added. The one in Indiana is until 1, so that was just a different timing. The rest of these go until 10 o'clock Illinois, Missouri, and even down to Kansas. This all goes until 10 o'clock, those watches do. So you're kind of getting the 1,000-yard view here. So I want to look at that one cell. Oh, yeah. Again, how fast is this moving? 35? I'll take a quick peek at this cell because so this is a very stretched cell, so it might be getting caught in that jet streak. Yeah, it's a little too close to the radar to get a good view of the volumetric. I can't really see much. But again, it's in these jet streaks, these storms get shredded, essentially. And that's the terminology that I use for it. But they essentially, the upper levels of the clouds are literally pushed away from where the storm is trying to build. And so instead of being a storm that's now 40, 50,000 feet, it's a storm that is 25,000 feet with clouds being shoved, 30 miles downstream. So can't get as much of a development. Now, granted, these storms are absolutely developing very healthily right now. Got a good little rotation in it, which you hear rotation, you think tornadoes. Rotation doesn't necessarily mean there is a tornado. Speaking of, they bumped it up to, still ping pong sized hailstones. So yeah, we're starting to get a little bit more. We now have two considerably worn storms now. One over at Decatur, still getting warned for 2 inches, and one near Warrensburg for golf balls. Starting to piece together, Taylor. It's coming. Slowly but surely. They're tornado watch in Eldon, Missouri. I am innately familiar with Eldon, Missouri. That is a suburb of Jefferson City. I got caught in a tornado in Eldon, Missouri. Right now, you are under that watch. There are storms making their way towards you. Let me actually. So we can see these storms are moving their way in toward Jefferson City. So moving in toward Eldon pretty closely. So you'll be seeing these storms pretty soon. They might pass north of the city. I would be more concerned with these storms right here we were just talking about, these two tornado warned storms and this one severe warned storm. Because the current vector that these storms are going on is almost east or almost west to east. So again, probably give it about an hour and a half. These storms will be knocking on the door of Eldon pretty soon.
Let's stay in Missouri and let's go to Columbia, Missouri. Wait, is it going to tornado in Columbia, Missouri? So you've got rain ongoing right now in Columbia. It was an area that we were watching for tornadoes earlier. You don't have a warning right now. You're not necessarily in the clear yet. However, I'm not too terribly worried about your storms in Columbia right now. Keep an eye on it for another hour or two.
Yeah, the storm that is passing in between Columbia and Jeff City is currently kind of weakening. It was severe storm warned before, but no longer warned. Now you're still there. They're basically cutting off this warning as the storms pass by. So if you can kind of thread the needle in between all these severe thunderstorm warnings, you might be able to get away scot-free without any storms. But we've got this one right here that could try to fire up a little bit. Doesn't really have much of a good inflow going in, but
yeah, I keep an eye on that storm near Nelson because that's where you're going to get your inflow. Yeah. I mean, if a storm's going to get some decent inflow, that's got a core right now, I would keep an eye on that one by Nelson. So it's moving basically to the east at the moment. That could be your next one in Columbia. It's still away from you guys right now, so nothing confirmed, but keep an eye on the radar for the next hour. Great questions.
A lot of people from Missouri right now.
Yeah, well, and we've got a lot of storms in Missouri, so I'm glad that they're watching.
Okay. So you're trying to spark up over toward Kansas as well, in southeast Kansas. I'm not surprised by it, just seeing them stretch all the way down there.
Windsor is getting hammered with rain right now. Hopefully no tornado. Now, can you give us an idea where Windsor, Illinois? Windsor, Missouri? There is a Windsor, Illinois. There's also Windsor, Missouri.
Oh, that's great.
You gotta help us out a little bit here.
Here, let's go along the lines. If we might be able to see if there's a Windsor in any
I'm
of
gonna
these.
say it's probably Windsor, Missouri. So if you go to Sedalia, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Go down to the south a little bit. You can see Calhoun and Clinton. It's right in between there. So not a ton of rain at the moment, although you guys just did get some rain. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, we're getting some help with this. Okay, between Sedalia and Clinton. Awesome. Good teamwork, you guys. So right south of Windsor, you guys have a tornado warning that's moving to the east at about 40 miles an hour. That tornado warning goes for another like 29 minutes, so until about 6:30. And then you've got more storms coming in for you. So keep an eye on those storms farther back to the west, because what we're watching for with this storm that Martin's kind of highlighting right there is for golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So if we had to choose a storm in Missouri that was going to produce hail, it's about to come into Windsor right now. So you could see some pretty decent hail in Windsor over the next few minutes. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until, let's see. I can get some
29 minutes
on it. 29. Okay, so it's until 6:30.
I would imagine they're probably going to continue to extend this as well. It's moving about 35 miles an hour. So right about that nice little sweet spot for a lot of these storms. Not too fast, not too slow. Looks like they're probably going to be maybe getting rid of this tornado warning pretty soon because they've extended it with only a severe thunderstorm warning. So we've done 5 tornado warnings and 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. So we have kind of dropped off a little bit on how many warnings we've got across. This is kind of what we've got going on across a lot of just everywhere across Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, all of those. Got a tornado warning over toward Charleston. This one's a warning for 1-inch hail. Again, Decatur getting more of these. Let's see. Yes, yeah, 2 more 1-inch reports.
Decatur is a great example of, you could see multiple rounds of storms. So we had storms earlier that brought hail through the south side of the city. We've got storms now that are bringing hail right through the center of the town. Decatur, is this it? Or do you have another storm coming? I mean, you've got more rain coming your way. It's not severe warned right now, but you're definitely going to get more rain. Springfield as well.
Need a new windshield anyways. Yeah, that's what we're rooting for. What does the storm heading towards Sedalia look like?
So that's the storm that we were talking about earlier, right? So if you go, I think, right to the north of there, you're going to see Sedalia.
Oh, there's Sedalia. So the storm just to the north over at Knob Noster and Warrensburg, Lamont, Dresden, that one is not severe warned currently, but the one to your west, a little bit south and west, over at Quick City and Blairstown, you are seeing this storm. This is warned for now 2-inch hail, so they bumped it up just a smidge. So now it's warned for that hen egg sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. So that is the one I'd be paying attention to. You might get a little bit of rain, maybe some claps of lightning with this one cell if it is going to be making its way. Yeah, that one's going to be heading in towards Sedalia pretty soon. So you might get some wind, maybe some small hail, but this one is currently not severe warned. The one to your south and west, that's the one I'd be paying close attention to. Are there any tornadoes in Oklahoma? There is nothing going on in Oklahoma. I can tell you, because it is nothing but friggin' hot here. I'm sick of this heat already. We haven't even really gotten into summer yet. A lot of reports in Decatur. I think most of our hail reports have came out of Decatur or around that region. Oh yeah, several reports. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reports in or around Decatur today of hail. Granted, most of them have been 1 to 1.5, but we did have that 2-inch hail report. Down to 4 tornado warnings, 6 severe thunderstorm warnings. There's that 1 tornado warning that is up in Wisconsin still. And that one does not, that one wants to continue going. It's been constantly a tornado warned storm ever since it dropped that tornado just outside of Lansing. Very impressive. 1, 2, 3, 4 severe thunderstorm warnings in Missouri, 1 in Illinois, 2 tornado warnings in Missouri, and 1 in Illinois. Still got this tornado watch in effect. This is including central and northeastern Missouri, central Illinois, and central Indiana. Missouri and Illinois, you go until 10 o'clock. Indiana, you go until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. Eastern time. I believe that's right. Is it Eastern? No, midnight at 1 a.m. and midnight at Central, 1 a.m. Eastern time. Sorry, got that mixed up. And then tornado watch in Wisconsin. This one goes until 9 p.m. That's a bit of a short fuse one. It's really only just for this cell and the cluster that's surrounding it.
And that cell has been tornado warned for quite some time. It actually produced a tornado whenever it was back in the far northeastern side of Iowa. And then just as it crossed the state line into Wisconsin, there you go. That was the confirmed tornado. This is what we talk about whenever we're talking about long track supercells. This is exactly what we mean in supercell MCS with that storm right there.
Oh yeah. It was very. It was for a good while. It was a long. I would say maybe almost a long track tornado. It was for a good while that it had a very defined and strong debris signature attached to it. Is that a 2-inch hail report? It is a 2-inch hail report. Look at that. I'm gonna pull up. There we go.
Yeah, and that storm, that's the one that we've been watching, right? That's the one that's coming right into Windsor. So our friend that was watching from Windsor, Rogue 2961 on YouTube. That's your name today. This is the storm that's headed into Windsor. So keep an eye on this. It's going to be a little bit until it gets to you, but it did produce 2-inch size hail report.
Hasn't popped up on this system right here, but it was about just south of Holding is where that report came from. That'll probably populate in the next couple of seconds. Yep, just south of Holding. Let's see who the report came from. Amateur radio, time estimated from radar. Report of 2-inch hail. Decent amount of lightning with it as well. I got these lightning bolts here. That's where you're looking at occasional lightning. Huh. That is a weird time to do that. They have dropped it down to, I believe it was, they dropped it down to 1-inch hail. Huh.
I wonder if that was something that they were going to do, and then whenever they got the report, then maybe they'll bring it back up.
Yeah, check out the hail core. I can see what they're talking about now. You see the hail core just south of Holden, and then 2 frames and then it basically evaporates. Yeah. I see what they're doing now.
Well, and we can't just completely discount the storm. We can't just say, oh, the storm's done. These storms go through cycles, so we'll keep an eye on it.
It's had a history of 2-inch, so that means it can do it again. We've still got this one storm that is currently going through Mount Zion, Dalton City, Lovington, just outside of Hammond, Long Creek. You're seeing some pretty good hail. This is the one that was just inside Decatur not too long ago. Decatur round 2, I should say. And this is the only considerably warned severe thunderstorm that we're sitting on right now. If I could get the Lincoln radar. If it'll load up. Yep, still warned for 2-inch hail. Moving at 50 miles an hour. It's still got a very good hail core on it, too. Right, perfectly correlated with that higher reflectivity marker. Send it to Knob or Warrensburg. We'll send that up the horn. Tell him to send it to Warrensburg.
Yeah, we'll make calls.
Yeah. Hey, my dad thinks that I have the ability to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, our degree does not allow us to control the weather. It does not
If we
give us any
believe hard
godly
enough.
powers.
If we believe hard enough. Yeah, it looks like Warrensburg and Knob might be missing it a little bit. It's probably going to be staying to the south of it, but hey, I mean, it could tilt maybe a little bit north if it wants to follow along the cold front. But I think more than likely, Knob and Warrensburg, you're probably going to be out of the severe risk completely in the next couple of minutes. You're kind of on that last little gasp of these storms before the cold front really pulls you in. Let's take a look at the winds right now. Yeah, see, your winds in Kansas City are already tilting out of the north now. Marshall, Warrensburg, you still got south wind right now, so you're technically still in that warm sector. But once that north wind really kicks in, I bet you we pull up temperatures. Never mind, Kansas City's 91 degrees. Well, the winds are coming out of the north. That's the real defining factor is your winds.
The good news is that there is a forecasted cool down. It may, that cold air may take a while to move in, but there is a forecasted cool down for Thursday, a little bit of Friday. It doesn't last long, but at least you get a little bit of a break. Hey, Martin, you really want to see something that, I mean, you're absolutely going to hate. Oh, the temperature in Amarillo right now is 102. And if you go to the south into Hereford, I hope I'm saying that correct, 106.
Oh my gosh, Fort Stockson's at 100. Odessa's at 109. They can keep it. It's 96 here in Oklahoma City. Ugh.
Still very warm here in Oklahoma City.
Taylor's jumping up for joy. It's like, oh, it's great.
I love the summer. I love the summer heat. I love the changing seasons. Oklahoma weather is my favorite weather.
Both her and our producer, John, are big fans of heat. I'm kind of on my lonesome when it comes to I like it being cooler. Fall is my favorite season. Temperatures are good. All the bugs, they go back into their holes and they don't show up for 6 months. It's the greatest thing ever. And allergies. Me and Taylor have both been getting kicked today around for allergies.
Yeah, not my favorite.
Looks like there was a quick little funnel cloud.
I get allergies every season, so might as well enjoy it with the summer heat.
Near Villa Grove, there was a funnel cloud reported by the public. Looks like there was a funnel cloud again near Stonington. I'd rather have to layer up. Thank you. Thank you. Like, it can be 105 degrees. You can be in nothing, and you're still hating it. If you're cold, just put on another coat. Problem solved. Man, this tornado warning storm does not want to give up in Wisconsin. It's still hanging on. That is incredible. Even though it's starting to linearize out, it's still got a good little structure on it. One minute left in this tornado warning here over Appleton City. 16 minutes left on this one near Calhoun. Only other tornado warnings that are ongoing as of right now are up in Wisconsin, and then just near Charleston. This has been expanded out to the state line in Indiana.
So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings still ongoing. 2 of those in Missouri, 2 in Illinois. Coming from one storm, however, we'll get one of those to expire here in just a minute. And then we've got another one in Wisconsin, which is one that we've been following for quite some time. Other than that, your main hail risk is going to come from the storm that's moving out of Decatur right now. It's moving to the east at about 55 miles an hour. It's not just warned for large hail, 2-inch size hail, but also 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Oh, wow.
This storm
We'll
is
bump that
going
up.
to go over, this storm is going to go in the same track as the tornado warned storm ahead of it. So we're talking about Charleston, Oakland. You guys are going to get hit again. You've got a storm coming your way right now. You're going to get hit again by this storm that's warned for 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds and 2-inch size hail. So you just have one storm after another. This is kind of a lesson to everyone who's watching right now, is that these storms will just hit over and over and over, just kind of round after round tonight because of the motion that they're taking. So keep an eye on that. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on all storms tonight. This other tornado warning that's in Missouri. So one of them's been dropped already. We've got another one that goes until 6:30. We've got another 15 minutes on that. I'm wondering if they'll drop this a little bit early, though.
I think they're
It's moved
planning
out of the
to.
warning area.
I think they're planning to because they expanded it out and it's only a severe thunderstorm warning. So I'm willing to bet they're probably going to drop. This tornado warning pretty soon.
Yeah, I think that you're right on that. They've moved it out of the warning area. So at that point, we will have only one tornado warning that's about to cross the Illinois-Indiana state line and another one that's up in Wisconsin right now. So you guys, we're going to take a last call for questions since some of these storms are moving out of our most popular areas. Few more questions we'll stay on here for. We'll give you a few minutes to get those in. And then, of course, put those in the comments section. And then, of course, we'll hop back on to live whenever we have big storms coming into some more of our populated areas like St. Louis. Champaign, Illinois is out of the severe risk now. Springfield is just about out of that severe risk. Columbia, Missouri, you guys are just about out of the severe risk as well. You've got storms, you've got wind that are slowly turning to the north. So those are some of our bigger cities that we were watching for today. So we want to make sure we get on here, tell you what you need to know. We'll be watching storms going into Madison, Wisconsin as well. I think that this storm is going to hit just to the south of Madison, Wisconsin. I'm not too worried about it hitting head on, but keep an eye on that if you're just south of Madison. You know, we're talking about just about every state at this point, right? Across the Midwest. We've got Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri. And even Ohio's getting some rain.
Wow. We had a 78-mile-an-hour wind gust at the Decatur airport.
Wow. And with that, what? 2-inch hail?
Yeah. They've got, they have there was a 1-inch hail report that came in right before it, and then a 78-mile-an-hour wind gust at the airport. That is wowzers. Yeah, Cedar Rapids Municipal Airport. No, hold on. We had another 78-mile-an-hour wind gust in Cedar Rapids Municipal Airport as well. So we've had 2 airports, both had 78-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Wow.
And this one also was warned for 2-inch hail as well. So like this thing is getting all of it. All we're missing is a tornado.
Wow. And that storm in front of it did the same thing.
Then because of that, they have bumped this up to include wind gusts of up to 80 miles an hour. So it is now a destructive tag storm with 2-inch hail. So your destructive tag, there's 3 different tiers of these severe thunderstorm warnings. You have your regular severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1 to 1.5-inch hail. Your considerable tag, which is this dark outline we have here, that's up to 70-mile-an-hour winds, and I think it's tennis ball sized hail. And then anything above that for winds, meaning 80 miles an hour, baseball or bigger, you get the destructive tag. So this double line right here is that destructive tag. So I imagine the 78-mile-an-hour wind gust, NWS was like, oh, we're putting a destructive tag on that one.
I think that's our first destructive tag that we've gotten all night.
Unless I missed something, I think you're right. Speaking
Very
of,
impressive. Okay, we have a
we were
question
right.
about the Ozarks. So I think, Martin, you're headed down there to the Ozarks right now, that storm in Warsaw. That tornado warning has officially been canceled. So a little early, about 12 minutes early, that tornado warning is canceled. Now this storm, Ozarka, Texas, that's the question. Okay, let's go through the Ozarks and then we'll go into Texas real quick. It's hot in Texas. By the way, people that are in the Ozarks right now, this storm is warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. It has a history, the storm behind it has a history of producing 2-inch size hail. But man, Martin, this storm just completely lost its organization. It said no more. Just went to bed for the night. I mean, really, there's no organization with the storm at all anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
Look
I
how
probably
fast
would
that
guess.
happened.
Oh yeah, and I imagine it had to do something. Actually, let me pull up GR2 so we can get a better look at it, because I'm willing to bet it's probably because it lost that open inflow. Yeah, there's like, yeah, that's the reason why right there. It got this new little cell underneath it, choked it up, and immediately just like, it's basically like, this is literally the inflow is the storm breathing in. If you can't breathe in anymore, you get stumbling and you fall over. This storm got stumbling and fell over. So that's exactly what happened. You know, it was only 15 minutes ago we had a 2-inch hail report, so it kind of just got choked off, and now it's not even severe warned.
Okay, so I don't see Ozarka, Texas. So we've got one person on YouTube asking about Ozarka, saying that you're in Texas right now.
There's the Ozarka water bottling business in Texas. That's all I pulled up was the Ozarka water bottle company.
Now we can tell you that Texas, no matter where you are in Texas, as long as you're in Texas, it's hot and it's dry. We have no storms ongoing in Texas right now. Temperatures range from the upper 80s to the triple digits. We've still got 108 in Odessa right now for your temperature, not your feel like temperature. Very, very warm.
111 in Pecos.
Yeah, so
That's in West
very, very
Texas.
warm.
Oh, let's look at the heat index.
And your dew points at that point, they're in the 30s. It's dry. Your heat index, what we're at the 90s. Triple digits.
So hot. It's so hot in Western Texas, they're not even registering a heat index.
It's very dry there. So your feel like temperature may be your actual temperature.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're sitting at dew points in the 30s. At that point in time, your heat index might actually be a little bit lesser, because it allows if it's that hot and it's that dry, your sweat on your body literally works instantly, because sweat uses a thing that's called evaporative cooling, and that's what sweat does. It evaporates and it cools you off. It might not feel like it, but it does cool you off, and that would make your heat index a lot more manageable.
Okay, we're getting some questions. Yeah, we're getting some answers here to our questions. So the question is about Ozark, Missouri. However, in Texas, currently in Texas, and it is hot here. Okay, so we're getting some answers. I'm glad that we answered both of them. We answered both what's happening in Texas and what's happening in the Ozarks. The Ozarks, we're really just watching that marginally severe storm. Again, it's marginally severe means 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. This is something that you could see on really any given day, your classic severe thunderstorm warning here.
Yeah, I think might be a little hard for these storms to get down here later on, but absolutely it could happen. I know a lot of people when I was living in Northwest Arkansas that they could eat that. This was a really popular place to go floating. So anybody out there, great lakes out here. Lake of the Ozarks is fantastic.
I've been to Lake of the Ozarks many, many times. You guys, my favorite place to go in Lake of the Ozarks is Andy's, Randy's, and Sandy's. Absolutely phenomenal ice cream over there. And I think that those are all of our questions here. Obviously, we're kind of getting off on a tangent.
A little
Um,
bit.
about the heat and the ice cream and everything. But you guys, we want to answer all of those questions. If you have more questions, put them in the comment section after this live is over, or wait for a new live in just a few hours. We want to make sure that we're answering and letting you know about all of those big cities that are hit. We have a few severe thunderstorm warnings right now, and we have one tornado warning still ongoing across the Illinois and Indiana state line, and then another storm that's moving into Madison, Wisconsin right now. The biggest threat with this storm is not hail, it's going to be high winds. So the biggest threat with this storm is going to be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so keep an eye on that. Thanks for joining us today. Martin, before we go, anything that people need to know?
Not as of right now. We kind of pretty much touched everything. Just keep an eye
Okay.
on it. We'll be getting you up to date on what you can be expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. And if these storms just completely weaken, we will see you tomorrow at noon. We have a live noon show every single weekday, so check us out over there as well. Of course, we'll keep you updated on social media, so give us a follow. Thanks for joining us today.